Hello, friends. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me today for another near-death experience. Today with Karina Ferrigno Martinez. Karina had a near-death experience very recently in 2020 where she experienced the light and a being that she calls her savior, as well as being shown her pet who had passed on previously. Karina's experience was absolutely life-changing to her. It caused her to do a 180-degree turnaround in her life. She also brought back some spiritual gifts and abilities from that experience. In episode 1 today, I'm going to ask Karina to share her near-death experience story. Don't forget to check back tomorrow where we will do a Q&A. I will have Karina's email address listed in my description box for anyone who would like to get in contact with her. Thank you so much for watching. Here's Karina. Hello, Karina. Thank you so much for being willing to join me. I'm so excited and honored to have you here to talk about your near-death experience.
Well, I am super, super, super happy. And thank you so much for inviting me. And I'm just so humble that, that I'm here. I'm so excited to share my story, my testimony. I call it testimony.
I'm very excited to hear it again and talk to you about it a little bit. So if you wouldn't mind, would you share your near-death experience story with us in whatever way you feel led?
Sure. Well, I gotta start always by telling you who I was and who I am now, because I'm totally two different person now for the good. Back I'm Colombia. I came here when I was 16, and I came with no English. Obviously, I'm in Colombia. We speak only fluent Spanish, and my life, it's always been very painful since the beginning of my birth. I mean, I had actually a vision, and I probably can go in details one of these days with people, but I had a complete vision and with my birth mother, because I don't have a relationship. I didn't have a relationship before, after this. And so now that I had the vision and her on the phone, she was confirming everything I was seeing. I actually got to see my birth. So I had really a tragic moment at birth, all the way until what this happened in May 2020, May 10th, 2020. But I was, at 16, 17, 18, my parents, my father, who brought me here with my stepmother, ended up going to New York on the day that I was going to high school. I was in ninth grade. They had to kind of like rearrange some grade level, because in Colombia, we graduated earlier. And when I came home, I realized that we were gone, and I was waiting. Nobody told me anything. And I just like, well, it's late 9. And then I find out that they had left me with my brother and my sister when they were little. And I got my heart more broken, because not only I was embraced with my birth mother and my father, but as a child, I was jumped from home to home. So I never really had a stability. I felt like I was really abandoned. I never really had the love. I always loved everybody. Like I always wanted to, I was always seeking love, basically. And I always wanted to be perfect. I became a perfectionist since I could remember, because I wanted to be perfect for people to accept who I was. And so, I got physical abuse. I got sexually molested. It was just verbally abused. Like you have no idea, really like shrinking me the more, but I always somehow came out of it. So then, of course, knowing that my father left, I got very mad, and I just quit school. Like I dropped out. Like I don't want to do this. I'm just going to do whatever I want. But I stayed with my aunt, who I did not know well. And she said, well, you're going to stay here. You're going to work. So I worked for very, very little money, and for her, and just things started declining from there. I met a boyfriend. I got pregnant. I had an abortion. So boom, that opened up a lot of, I didn't know then what I know now, but that obviously opened up a lot of doors for a lot of darkness in my life. So, eventually I got into my teens and stuff like that. And I was just really, really depressed, really struggling, was not really stable, basically. And you know, I'm going to skip a lot of my life there, but end up finding an amazing husband that I'm married to. We're together for 20, my son is 23 years. And so he has been, I mean, with me from thick and thin, but we were having a lot of issues. So I became a adulteress. And of course, before that, I had, you know, fornication. I mean, you name it. I was just in the that dark moment in my life. But anyways, with all this, I ended up going through, of course, I'm going to go back a little bit. I had a relationship with another boyfriend and I ended up having a miscarriage. This is something actually, you will be the first one to know this because I never really shared this. The Lord is actually bringing my memory back into this because it was very painful for me. So I actually had that and it was just like one thing after another, one thing after another. And with meeting my husband, which I know now he's my soulmate, he put up with so much of my pain. And on top of that, all these health issues that started developing. I mean, I had issues gaining weight. I actually made a list yesterday and I had 13 to 14 health issues that were spoken to me. And so with all that, the severe depression, suicidal, I tried to kill myself several times, did not work. Somehow the Lord just bring me back. But I didn't have no experience, but just like they were able to save me. I also was very ill. And the last straw was a misdiagnosed of my heart. I was told that I had SVT, which is supraventricular tachycardia. And for that, a lot of people gets what is called an ablation. And this ablation was, the way it happened is just even incredible, how I was led to really to get to that. But anyways, I ended up having this ablation and they burn so much of the AV node of the heart, which is the AV node of your heart is on the center of your heart, on the top of the heart, something like that. And it's really what it helps for the energy of your heart. Because we have energy in the heart and it's like electricity, tuk, 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 you know, goes like that. But mine was going really fast to where I will be sitting like this, not even moving my hands, and my heart rate will go up to 240, 280. And it's just, you know, like it was just weird. And me getting up, it was just overwhelming. It got to the point where it was so bad that I went to the ER the first time and they had to shot me to basically not stop the heart, but it's like give it a shock to the heart. It's just shot. A lot of people that are in medical, they'll probably know what I'm talking about. But they give you the shot and your heart kind of stopped, but then goes back to normal. Well, they did like twice and they decided to go ahead and keep me. And that's how all this mess started. But anyways, I end up with a pacemaker, and it's a box with the 2 wires on the top and the bottom. And it was really hard to even do this or wash my head, take a shot. I mean, I couldn't even cry because anything that it will make my blood move a little bit. It will be like so difficult to breathe. The heart was just really hard. So this was done in June 10th, 2019. And on June 9th, I lost my Yorkie. And so I went into the surgery very depressed, very heartbroken. It was very hard for my children, my husband. My husband's the first time after all these pets. This is the first time he really fell in love with a pet. And so I was just really lost. I always was wondering if there was a God. Why me? I was always, since I was 16, I was Catholic. So the only thing I really learned was, you know, the Our Father in Spanish, and that was it. I did the first communion, but I didn't do the rest of the stuff. So I don't remember much of it. I remember the Virgin Mary and all this stuff, but I don't I never really practiced it. And when I came to the United States, I was trying to go back into that religion after I went through this abortion to try to find comfort, try to see why this happened to me. Because I didn't do it because I wanted to. I was forced to do it. I was told that if either you do it or get out of the house. And I was living then with a cousin. And so I had no choice. I felt like I had nobody. I even called my dad, and at that time he was not happy. And so I was really, all the doors were shut completely. So I had no choice. It would have been up to me. I definitely would have kept it. But you're young, you don't know, you don't speak the language. So I was really looking for God. I was seeking him. Which God is this? Who were allowed this to, I was like always, but I never blamed God, this God that I imagined then. Me through all this health issues, being married, having difficulty in my marriage. I even had a very difficulty pregnancy. I had twins, and I was in bed rest for a very short time. My twins, I almost lost them. I almost died. So it was always that verge. I was always on that line to die. I was always there, but I was always pulled out. And so it's just like one pain after another, after another, after another. And I was like, I told Jeff, because I think that's where you met me there. I said, I wasn't broken. I was shattered. I was like powdered on the floor. I don't even know how, but now I know that the love that God has for me, he just put me back together and gave me a new me. So when I ended up having this pacemaker, keep in mind, I went through every religion. I went to Baptist, Mormon, Christianity. I went to every religion, but I could never find anybody to pray for me. The only people that really opened the doors was the Mormons, and they try to, fill me up. And I wasn't, I could not feel anything with anybody. Just there was nothing, and I was always sitting in the back. I was never really greeted. It's just never a moment of feeling that peace, that fullness in you. So I basically felt jumping from church to church. And now that I think about it, it's really like I was jumping from home to home when I was a child. So it's amazing now that he's giving me this. So on May 10th, 2020, I'm going to back up 3 days or 4 days before that. This is exactly when the COVID was really a fear. Man, I had an immune system issue that I could not really be out there. And I would wear gloves, double mask, go to the store. As a matter of fact, I even made a video as to how to clean your groceries from your car to the house. It was that fear in me, because I didn't want to get sick and die. And so I was 103 pounds then. I couldn't gain any weight. And so on May 7, 8, and 9, I kept calling the ambulance. They keep picking me up, taking me to the ER, and sending me back. So they never kept me until that Friday. And on Friday, the doctors decided, they said, look, we don't have rooms. We're going to put you in a regular room. We're just going to watch it because you have a cardio issue. But let's find out why your blood pressure is so high. And keep in mind, I was already taking medication for high and low blood pressure, because for some reason, this pacemaker, my blood pressure went wacko. It was just never balanced. And so then they kept me. And on Sunday, he comes in, he says, we can't figure out what's wrong with you. We're just going to give you another pill. So that added to the 14 to the 15 meth. And, we ended up going home. I couldn't barely walk. I lay down in the patio with my sister on the phone. She's a nurse practitioner. And I'm trying to speak to her, and I couldn't. And she's yelling, stop saying that, because that day I felt like I was going to die. I really knew I knew that I knew, because I started asking her for forgiveness. If anything I've done or said to you, please forgive me. I kept saying, please, if there's a God, please forgive me. Like I start all these things just poured on me. And I grabbed my kids. My kids were crying with me because they could not believe that I was just so weak and I was just falling. And then my sister said, just put her to sleep, let her lay down. But we were in the patio because I wanted to be outside. We live in the back of a lake. So when I lay down, it just I heard this beautiful voice. I started breathing really fast. And then I kind of slowly kind of stopped. And I heard this beautiful voice, are you ready to come home? But it was like this deep, beautiful, soft, loving voice. And that voice just gave me that peace I had never felt. My whole entire being was just so calm. And so I felt like it was just picked up. And then all of a sudden, I just knew that I died. Like I knew that I was dead. But then yet there was a concern in my mind. And I don't know how they respond. Like we can speak, but the answer was there will be okay. And they just showed me photos, not photos, but it's just the image of my two best friends because I was concerned of my children. So my my two best friend and I just felt very worried about my husband because he was going through so much. I was like going through as well. He just saw me literally very broken. And so he was sitting next to me. My twins were in the kitchen inside the house. And my daughter, who had all these illnesses and was taking a lot of medication, she was having a panic attack and she was going like this because she knew something was wrong. So as I'm seeing this, I am okay to leave. I'm okay. And I'm kind of floating. And I just felt the presence of this being. This is the first time I actually can explain it to you. It's like I felt this beautiful presence. And all of a sudden, when he told me, because I know it's a male voice, I can't quite really tell you it was a female because it was so soft but yet powerful. um, Said everything is going to be okay. It gave me that peace to just let go. I just like let go. And all of a sudden, in a blink of an eye, poof, I was in this darkness. And this darkness was very hard then to explain the day I came back because it was darkest in darkness. And I always tell anyone that interviews me, everybody that wants to know, it's like if you build a hole, like a deep cave in the bottom of the ground and you shut it completely, it's still darker than darker. Like it's so dark. And then I'm just there. And all of a sudden I felt this freezing cold thing in my being. And I felt this fear in me. And I started, please forgive me, please forgive me. And I started speaking all these languages. And I knew what they were then. I knew they were like Hebrew, Greek, and I was like, I had never, and I knew that I had never spoken this in earth, but why am I speaking this when I only speak Spanish and English? And this is just, I was not confused, but I knew that I knew that I knew. And I just asked for forgiveness. And all I remember is that my head was going down. And then that's how I noticed it was a tunnel. It was just going down, down, down. My head was down and my feet were up. And when I heard this beautiful voice, so gentle and calm, and said, close your eyes, don't turn around. And for me, I'm like, I already had my eyes closed because I was in so much fear, but I literally, and I just make sure that I had them closed. And immediately I just went whoop like that. And when I was going like this, I just saw this ugly, and I call him Satan because now I know what it is. Before I didn't know what it was. I thought this is the ugliest face I had ever seen. This monster, this scary thing, this blue light hit it, and then this big old white light pushed everything, and it just went right through me. And I felt that peace. And in this light, when I turned, my head was going up, so I'm going up. And I go like this, and I'm still have my eyes closed. I don't have eyes, but I could just know that I had my eyes closed. Immediately, this darkness, it started like open up like this, like clouds, and this golden light comes right through this darkness. And I'm going in, and I see these shapes of beings out there calling me, come, and they're celebrating. There was like a party going on. literally like a party celebrating, come, they're just saying come, and Karina, come, and they're calling me Karina. And I'm like, but nobody calls me Karina but my own family in Colombia. So I'm like, but I knew that I was not worthy. Like I felt like I was not worthy to go in there. And I just kept, I keep pushing back, but then I wanted to be there. And immediately the only way I can explain it is when you slick your hair back, like when you slick it really back and you see the little tiny hair popping out and that golden light touches you, you start feeling this warmth and this power, and you just feel love. Like, let me tell you, there's no love here, and I'm sure you know what I mean, because I can't explain the power of this love. Okay, it's so intense, so beautiful, and as I'm going in, I still have my eyes, but I was thinking this: I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy of this. I deserve to go to hell. That's what I said. I said that, and he says, "Welcome home. Come, you're home." And I'm like, no, and he says, "Open your eyes." And I didn't want to open my eyes, and all I asked is, if I'm in heaven, I said that, if I'm in heaven, show me someone of my family has passed away. Keep in mind that I was not attached to anyone because I was keep moving, so I really haven't lost yet anyone from my family that I feel. I had lost friends that I had cried more than my own family. So I wasn't able to see anybody, but he said, "Look to your right." And when I looked to the right, I could barely see. And he says, "Open your eyes." And I opened my eyes like this because I didn't want to, I didn't want to be deceived because I saw that ugly face before I went through. But I knew I was in the right place. And when I opened like that, I just see my Yorkie and my old dog. And that's like literally just like I just went right in. And then that joy and that peace. And when I walk in, this beautiful white glowing angel, like this light that I'm still seeing right now. I just saw this beautiful white angel, and this angel had this what I thought then was a box because it was brownish, and she was like this, or he, because I couldn't tell whether she or he, long beautiful hair, and was not talking to me, but I could hear this gorgeous, amazing, stunning voice again with love, say, "Come, come, you're home," through the angel. And I can't remember a lot of what I saw. I know that the floor were all gold. It was like a city. It was just beautiful. There was a beautiful, humongous tree. I got to fly over the entire heaven because I could hear them saying, "Do you like it?" And it was so beautiful. And I asked, "Is this heaven?" "Yes." And there were two angels flying me next. I felt like I was floating, flying. I don't even know what to tell you, but all I know is I was just going and enjoying everything. And then I looked down in this huge river, beautiful river. I'm giving you more details that I had never been able to give anybody. And you could see through this river. And then the only thing I can give you that I have not spoken is, I only spoken to this to people that I'm very close to, is I'm passing by this mountain, and in this mountain I see three babies. Okay, the first baby, I can tell you how beautiful it looked. Had curly hair and some beautiful kind of hazelish eyes and kind of darker skin. And then in the back there was another one, and he's kind of going behind, and they're all smiling at me. The third one I could not quite see, but they were like between like 3 to 5 years old, and just chunky, real pretty. And I look and I asked the angels, and I keep in mind, I was not talking, this is all telepathic. I heard him saying, "Those are your grandchildren." And I'm happy. I'm like, wow, okay. And I'm going, and all of a sudden we come down to by where this garden is, and there's sunflowers, big sunflowers, and there's this purple flowers on the trees. And I don't remember anything else, just the two angels next to me. But I remember this voice coming and say, do you want to go back? And I said, home? Like I kept saying home over there, like back over here. And I didn't like think twice about it. Like I wasn't really saying yes or no, let me think about it. I just said yes. But in that midst of it, he was telling the angels to give me all the gifts. But here I am responding, oh, I would like some horses for my daughter. And, my son plays football. Back then when I passed, my son wasn't playing any type of sports. He didn't like any sports. But I said that on there. I said, well, he likes football and my daughter likes soccer. She was playing soccer then. My twins, they're 12 years old. And so here I am thinking they're about to give me everything that I'm supposed to get here, right? I don't know why I felt that, but that's what I felt. Then he asked me again, do you want to go back? And I say yes. So when I say yes, immediately I started kind of descending back, but then I turn around, I kind of make a stop and I turn to the light and I said, can I tell everybody this? Can you allow me to share this? He says, yes, but they're going to make fun of you. Just go ahead and go. And so I turn around and I go back again and I go, I promise you, I'm going to bring as many people home. I promise that. And I turned back and he just said the word awesome. You're awesome. And I just smile. And so as I'm coming back, I end up falling into this glass floor. And I mean, it's just like a glass floor and I'm on all fours and I cannot get up because it's like this, this energy, this power on you. And I'm trying to pick up my head, but I felt this being coming towards me. It was beautiful, this love, this everything all at once. And he's wearing this white robe, gold belt, and a purple sash. This is all I could see because I couldn't even pick up my head. I was just trying to lift it and I couldn't pick it up. And he asked me again if I wanted to come home. It was like 3 times. He asked me 3 times. Oh my gosh, number 3. And I said yes, but I felt this pain, like he didn't want me to go, but he understood that I needed to come. Does it make sense? Like it was, and so I did not see his full face. I just saw a beard and a little bit the hair kind of wavy, curly. I couldn't even. It's not straight. It's not straight, and this whole area was just flash of white light, and so all of a sudden, when I say yes, I just whoop. I'm back into the earth, and I started kind of descending back the way I was, and I just stopped because he knew that I was going to ask a question. He already knew, and didn't give me a name, by the way, just so we get clear. But I knew who he was. And when in that moment, I look at my watch, my Apple Watch I used to wear, I always check my heart rate because every time I felt palpitations, I wanted to know if my pacemaker was synchronizing. And I know, and I said, wow, we truly die and we don't take anything. That's the first thing I noticed. No material, nothing. And then I thought of my question was, is this going to hurt when I get back in there? Because I knew I was in pain. I knew not only in physical, but emotionally, I was so shattered. But in my spirit, I was just so new. And it was my spirit. I'm going to tell you, when he said it was not going to feel the same. I mean, I believed it, but I did not really believe it until I started trying to get back in my body. And I felt this, and I could not fit. I felt like I was a fat, like overweight spirit to get into the skinny body. And I was just trying to fit in. And then finally, like, oh, I felt so horrible. And I took a deep breath and I grabbed my husband and I say, I came from heaven. And he looks at me like, what? And I started, and I mean, I could not stop talking. I got up like nothing. And then he realized this must be real because she was dying. And hours later, she's running to the kitchen to tell the children about it. And I did. All the kids, my 3 kids that were there. And I realized when I'm telling my twins and my 14-year-old, I realized that I didn't connect spiritually with my 23-year-old. And I started like worrying about it. And I called him. I said, listen, something just amazing happened to me, and I need you to tell me. And I told him the story, and then he started kind of getting quiet at me. And I said, you don't love me? Because all was about love. The whole time it was about love. You don't love me? Yes, mom, I love you. I said, but I love you. So what happened? Why didn't I connect with you? He says, mom, I'm gonna tell you something. Please don't get mad. I said, no, I cannot even get mad anymore. Like I came with something else in me. And so he said, when I was 12 or 13, he said that he was in our shower and I was arguing with my husband, who he's the stepfather for him. And he said that he gave his soul to the devil. Like, he just take me, kill me, just take me. And so when he said that, I rebuked that. And so when that happened, I guess he was bound to that, because it was no connection, none. Like, there was no thoughts of me having a third or I'm a fourth child. I mean, this is my baby, my first born that I actually carried and I loved, and 23 years of my, 22 then. And I was just like, and I said, you need to hang up and get on your knees and ask God to forgive you. Please ask us, because he will forgive you. If he forgave me, he will forgive you. And so he did that. And many things happened for that, but he came to repentance. And this is exactly what happened.
Well, thank you so much for sharing, Karina. That's
Yes.
such a beautiful story. And
Thank
just
you.
listening to you talk is, of course, bringing back so many memories for me as well. Do you have time for a few
Yes.
questions?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. I have all day. I have a lot happened to me since then.